Hey there, welcome back to the Fertility with Jaya podcast. If you're navigating the rollercoaster of IVF, I see you. Maybe you've been told you have unexplained infertility, or you've had a few cycles that didn't go as planned. You're doing everything your specialist says, but the results just aren't there. Sound familiar? Well, today I'm going to share the 5 most common IVF mistakes I see women make, and more importantly, how to avoid them so you can save yourself time, money, and heartache. By the end of this episode, you'll feel more empowered and clear about your next steps. And if you're ready to take this even further, I've got a free guide that will help you decode your fertility test and uncover what might be holding you back. I'll share more about this at the end, so stay tuned. Okay, mistake number 1, jumping into IVF too soon. One of the biggest mistakes I see is jumping into IVF too quickly, thinking it's the guaranteed solution. But here's the thing, IVF is only as good as the foundation it's built on. So if there's an underlying issue like hormonal imbalances, nutrient deficiencies, or even male factor issues, IVF won't magically fix those. Okay, let me tell you about Sarah and Nick. They were in their late 30s, desperate for a family, and feeling the pressure from their specialist to move fast because of Sarah's low AMH. They had already had 2 failed cycles and the results were heartbreaking. Just one poor quality embryo each time. And when they came to me, we discovered that Sarah had low testosterone, low estrogen, and high prolactin, all the things that were affecting her egg quality and the amount of eggs that she was getting, which was low. We took 4 months to correct those imbalances, and on their next cycle, they got 6 embryos to freeze. Their first transfer was a success. So the lesson here is that taking a few months to prepare your body won't damage your AMH levels, no matter what you've been told, but it can make all the difference to your IVF success. Most people don't realise that their issues follow them into IVF, especially with unexplained infertility. It's an expensive gamble if you're not fully prepared. And it's not your fault. You follow your doctor's advice and you don't realise there's so much more that you can be doing. And honestly, that's why I'm doing this podcast, because I really want to help couples who are struggling to know what their options are, and that it isn't always about spending lots of money on expensive practitioners and supplements. There's a lot you can do by just improving your health. Okay, mistake number 2. Is relying on normal test results. I would say that the most common thing I hear in my inbox is this and this is happening and I've had all the tests and they're all normal. And to that, I am going to say to you that something is not normal. You either haven't had it all tested or it's not in the optimal range. Because doctors will tell you that your tests are normal, but normal doesn't always mean optimal. So IVF success depends on everything being in the optimal range: thyroid function, nutrient levels, sperm quality, and more. So overlooking these subtle shifts can quietly sabotage your cycles, and this comes back to functional testing. Honestly, this is not about pointing the finger and saying that my doctor is holding back and didn't test everything. We work from different toolkits, and the toolkit that I work in is really to fill in the gaps and look at it from a more holistic perspective. Not to say that you don't need IVF, because IVF is incredible, but to say how can we improve your results? A high number of eggs, better fertilization, and a successful implantation, and ultimately your dream family. And this is exactly why I created my free guide to help you decode your fertility tests and understand what might be holding you back. I'll share how to grab it at the end of the episode. Mistake number 3. This is a big one. Ignoring the male factor. IVF and infertility has been seen as a women's issue for too long. But the narrative has no merit now, because 50% of infertility is due to male factor, and sperm contributes to 50% of an embryo's DNA. And just because a semen analysis comes back normal, it doesn't mean that the sperm are truly fertile. Things like DNA fragmentation, oxidative stress, and lifestyle factors can have a huge impact on fertilization and embryo quality. And it's the part we can't see on a sperm test. That's the quality of DNA, and lifestyle, diet, and stress have a huge impact on how our genes are expressed. Here's the thing, sperm tests only measure the bare minimum for fertility. So when men are told that their sperm is fine, they often think they're off the hook, right? But issues like DNA fragmentation and oxidative stress don't show up on standard tests, and they can have a huge impact on embryo quality. So if your partner's had a sperm test and he's been told that everything's fine, but he's still drinking beers every night, he still goes through drive-through when he wants, he's highly stressed, he hasn't changed anything, this could be the thing that's letting you down. Because in those consults, they often aren't even asked about what they eat, whether they smoke, or how much alcohol they drink. But I've got to tell you, after 15 years of working with couples who are doing IVF, this is a huge piece of the fertility puzzle that's missing. And when we start treating both partners equally and you're both involved in preconception care, That's where the magic is. Okay, take Luke and Natalie, for example. Clients of mine, they had multiple failed cycles, good embryos on paper, but none of them were implanting. Natalie's health was great, and I did a deep dive in all of her testing. But when we looked deeper into Luke's results, we found low vitamin D, high fasting insulin, iron overload, and really bad DNA fragmentation. What's worse, he was vaping, and no one had ever asked about his lifestyle. We made the plan to focus on Luke's health, and 4 months later, they did a fresh cycle and got pregnant with twins. So Luke basically had the perfect combination of poor DNA fragmentation, and this is where the embryos weren't implanting. And the key takeaway from here is that it's really important to not overlook the male factor. He's half the equation, and addressing it can completely change your results. There is a good chance that your failed cycles are more than just poor egg quality. If this is resonating with you and you're wondering what might be holding you back, don't forget to grab my free guide to decoding your fertility tests. It's packed with actionable insights to help you uncover the missing pieces. The link is in the show notes. Okay, mistake number 4 is overlooking stress and underfueling. Chronic stress isn't just in your head. It has real physical effects that can impact ovulation, your hormone levels, egg and sperm quality, and how you respond to IVF. I've said this before, but I believe we're in an era of nervous system dysregulation, and I think this is a reason why we are seeing such a high demand of autoimmune protocols to get positive implantation and pregnancy in IVF. But if we zoom out a bit, let's talk about what's really going on. Number 1, we're too busy, overstimulated, and stressed. It's just life now. Number 2, we're stuck in fight or flight mode, meaning that somewhere deep down our system is on edge and gearing up for the next threat. And when we're in this zone, our body doesn't prioritize our fertility. And some would say IVF can overrun this and it doesn't really matter. I don't see that clinically. What I do see is people ignoring the real things that are causing this stress response. And it isn't your typical, I had an argument with someone, it's that work situation, it's intermittent fasting, overtraining, not being able to rest, that voice in your head telling you constantly that you need to be doing more. Because your brain can't differentiate where the stress is coming from. It's just constantly sending a signal, hey, there's danger, it's not a safe time to conceive. So really what I want you to do is to start prioritizing filling your cup up, going slower with intention where you can, allowing yourself to rest, have fun, play more, and find ways to reduce the mental load. All of the things you are carrying around in your brain is making you feel exhausted and flat. And honestly, this is the biggest turnaround I see once men jump on board. All of a sudden, you're sharing the burden and the things on the to-do list, and now you feel supported and you feel like you're part of a team, and that's important. Okay, so if this is you and you're feeling like you're running on empty, it's time to slow down and create space for calm and nourishment. Your body needs to feel safe to thrive. Let's talk about mistake number 5, and that's staying too long with the wrong clinic. Okay, not all clinics or doctors are the same. Some are conservative, some specialize in autoimmune issues or endometriosis, and others take a one-size-fits-all approach. If your protocol isn't changing and you're not seeing results, it might be time for a second opinion. Or if the trust is gone, it's definitely time. Too many women are feeling completely let down, and it might be that you feel like a number or no one reads your file before they call you, or you feel dismissed and gaslit. If the trust has gone, deep down, you will then start to question everything. And there'll be things like, have they forgotten something? What is being missed? How do I know that they can get me through this cycle and transfer? It comes back to nervous system dysregulation. And honestly, I've seen it with hundreds of clients, and there are some amazing doctors out there who are kind and who can hold space for you and are your perfect match. So don't be afraid to explore that, and that's exactly what I do with my clients, help them navigate the IVF space and find their perfect team. I know it's hard to leave a clinic when they know your story, but staying too long with the wrong team can waste precious time and embryos. So there you have it, the 5 most common mistakes and how to avoid them, from jumping in too soon to overlooking the male factor. These are the things that can quietly sabotage your cycle. But the good news is, with the right support and clarity, you can turn them around. You don't have to feel lost or hopeless. With the right support, you can take control of your fertility journey. You can feel confident in your next steps, and you can finally create the family you've been dreaming of. I'm here to guide you every step of the way. And if you're ready to take the first step, download my free guide to decoding your fertility test. It's packed with actionable insights to help you uncover what might be holding you back. You can grab it in the show notes. And if you're ready for personalized support, I'd love to invite you to book a free discovery call with me. The link is in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you're feeling a little bit more empowered and clear about your next steps. You've got this, and I'm cheering you on every step of the way.